I'd like to talk a little bit about nonverbal cues. Maybe that's a good example of, and ways in which I can help to...
A nonverbal cue meaning an impulse?
An impulse, a sign, a feeling,
These are such good words you're offering. Most of what's coming is a nonverbal cue.
But why does it feel like there's nothing there oftentimes?
Because you're not good at translating the vibration yet.
So that's...
So you need somebody to yell it in your ear.
That's kind of what I need. That's kind of what I feel like. All right, so it's really just finding ways to...
Esther's driving down the freeway. There's something going on up there. It has the potential of impacting Jerry and Esther in the big bus. And Esther gets an impulse to just get over. Jerry says, where are you going? Esther says, over. She takes the next exit. And Jerry says, what was that about? And Esther said, I don't know, just felt like it. Now, Jerry happily went along with things like that because he'd had enough experiences. They had had enough experiences together. If Esther had needed the verbal cue, so she's driving down the freeway. Now she needs to really make sure she's in the receptive mode. And now she's tuned into Abraham. Shh, don't talk, Jerry. I'm getting Abraham. Shh. We're tugging on her shoulder. There's something up there that you need to be aware of. And she's crashed into it before any of that's happened.
But it's interesting because...
We really want you to hear that. Because you think that someone fully explaining things is what you want at all times. That's not what you want at all times. You get so tired of that. If you were to walk around with Esther and she would make you sit and talk with her about all the things that she's thinking about all day, every day, about what Abraham's teaching, after a while you'd say, give it a rest. I was happier before I knew any of this stuff. Just don't need to be talk. Get out there and live your life and let your impulses lead you toward all of the things that you are wanting.
What about the impulses toward greater and greater love, greater and greater appreciation, love, appreciation? Because all that feels like, okay, that's it's great to get nonverbal cues to avoid misfortune or avoid an accident or avoid something like that. But how about just increasing love and joy and just having it be more and increasing the momentum?
That's the point of everything, really. What you've just described is why you came.
That's what I want.
So what do you think is in your way?
Well, it's probably just resistant thought, but it's got to be. I mean,
so we have a really important question for you, and we'd like all of you to think about it, weigh in on it too. When we're having this dialogue, and we know we've set it up, questions, answers, more clarification, and so forth. But are you asking this question from a state of being satisfied? That's how it is, or from a place of not having it and feeling dissatisfied. So you're in a step one moment, and you're verbalizing your step one moment, in this case with words, but you're broadcasting it anyway. So it's been asked and it's been answered. So now the question is, how do you get into the place where that's your experience? And we say, baby steps. You just have to tune yourself into the frequency of it. And most of all, pay attention to when it has happened. Notice when it's happening. Notice when you feel satisfied. Notice when some kind of really fun rendezvous happens. Esther went to the nail salon last week, early in the week, and 2 days later, her thumbnail just peeled right off for no good reason except she was scraping something off the counter. But so she knew that she needed to have it repaired before she went too much further. She couldn't stand it. And so she met her daughter for lunch, and they were doing things, and then they picked children up from 2 different schools, and Esther said, oh, we're right by the nail salon. Do you mind if I just run in and take care of this? Nobody wanted to do that, and Esther is usually the last one to put anybody out about anything. But Esther said, oh, really, it'll be really fast, and this just feels like the time to do it. Luke is saying, I really want to go home because there's a package waiting for me on the porch, and it's probably a Rubik's Cube, and I want to play with it. And Kate is saying, well, I've got homework. Nobody wants to give Grandma 10 minutes here because they've got the satisfaction in the selfish life really down good. Which is just the way Esther likes it to be. But in this case, Esther's impulse was so strong, it overrode her normal tendency, which was to just give everybody else whatever they want. And she said, we're right here, suck it up, I'm going in, I'll be right back. And so she went in. The woman who had done her nail was free. She said, sit down. Yes, of course I will. She took Esther's thumb. They're having a little bit of fun. And she's saying, do you need anything else? No, just that, just that, just that, just do that, just do that. And do it fast. Do it as fast as you can. I've got restless people waiting for me. Do that, do that, do that. And so she's playing. And then after about 5 minutes, the woman sitting next to her couldn't take it anymore. She said, I know who you are. And I can't believe this. I have been asking for a sign. And Esther said, okay, law of attraction is real, okay? It's a real thing. It was so satisfying to Esther to realize what her feeling of I'm going in here and I'm going in here now was all about. It was about rendezvousing with someone. You see what we're getting at? Cooperative components. It's happening to you all the time. And so just pay attention when satisfying things happen. Acknowledge what the setup for it was. Acknowledge that for whatever reason you were in a place you had accomplished a satisfying vibrational atmosphere in which this new thing could be realized, not revealed. There's all kinds of things that are being revealed to you that you're not picking up on. You were in a state of realization, you say. We'll talk more about it as we're moving forward.
Thank you. This is an amazing day.
Yeah.
I mean, I love these seminars.
You know, you have to be in the receiving mode to get it, and you know you're getting it. So isn't that good evidence for you?
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's powerful, and you could feel the alignment in the room. You can feel the vulnerability in the room and the desire to contribute. I mean, everywhere the sensations were great.
Delicious, isn't it?
Oh, it's
what
amazing.
You said when you decided to come into this body. You said, I want some of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you don't have to be in a room with us to get it. It's out there everywhere. Yeah.
About 8 weeks ago, I was at home in New York, and I was in a taxi. I was driving into work. And I had this experience of, for a moment, or could have been minutes, I really wasn't aware. It was as if all that existed. I couldn't feel my body. I wasn't aware of the physical sensations. But the emotions or the thought were so powerful, so real, and I felt connected to everything. And it
As
was,
you are.
Oh, it was beyond the physical.
So you were seeing the world through the eyes of Source.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The thing that we most want to say to you is, we want that to not be so rare that it surprises you. And we want it to not be so rare that it's amazing. We want it to just be how you are, tuned in, tapped in, turned on. The thing about alignment with Source, you'll never become complacent about it, because in that connection, you're always queued up for readiness for the next realization. Jerry used to talk about, he was born in San Diego, and then he returned there later. And when he first returned for the second time, he was in his 40s, and he saw a person on the beach. And he said, I used to be that person on the beach. But then after a while, it was just the beach, and I just didn't take the time to go there every day. I became complacent about the beauty of this place. And sometimes that happens, is that you acclimate. But we want to say this in a way that you will remember it at least for a little while, because it will really serve you to keep this belief going within you. However you get there, through meditation, through appreciation, through a conversation like the ones we've had today, however you get into that satisfying receiving mode, in the receiving mode, life will never become complacent, because what the receiving mode is the receiving of the next step and the next step and the next step and the next step and the next step toward the full manifestation of everything in the world that you want. Everything in the universe that you want, everything in life that you want. Just wanted you to know that. So that feeling in the car that day, that's normal. That's what life is supposed to feel like. You're supposed to feel expansive and appreciative and knowing of the value of each and every component that is making up this world or this street or this car in which you are participating in that moment. The perfection of your moments in time are beyond our verbal description. And even though they are being revealed to you constantly, you have to realize the revelation because you've got yourself of the right frame of mind, of the right mood, in the right perspective, in the right perception. You have to have prepared your atmosphere for the receiving of the fullness of it. And when you do, moments in time. In other words, it's nice to have somebody say something nice to you, or catch a smile across the room, or have something happen, a bunch of money drops into your bank account, or whatever. It's nice to have those meaningful moments in time. But when you have accomplished step 3 into step 4, where you're doing it consistently, where you're mostly in that satisfied place, most likely because you meditate every day, really, then you will realize in your moments in time from a fuller, more expressive vantage point. It's like the things that we describe. Like dollars flowing, or meeting someone that you care about, or having a nice conversation with someone. Let's just call that a piece of a puzzle, or one piece of 1,000 pieces that are there. But when you are in that receiving mode, all 1,000 can drop into your experience in a very short period of time. And your ability to comprehend it is what we're talking about, because those thousands of pieces are dropping into your experience moment by moment by moment by moment by moment, but you are not getting it. It's like you've got your umbrella up and they're bouncing off of you. But when you're open to it, and your realization, your perception of what's really going on, your perception of who you are, your perception of your place in the universe, your perception of how Source loves you, your perception of how all those who have gone before, come before and gone before in physical experience, are focused with you and are rooting with you. When you start getting that, then all the moments in time will feel expansive like that, in differing ways, but expansive like that. Little things like our friend that showed up somewhere and got information about a battery for his father without even asking the question, because the question was already asked and the answer was already in the vortex, and in the receiving mode it just comes and comes and comes. If you said to most people, oh, the most significant thing happened to me today, what was it? Well, I was in this store and this stranger just came forth to me and delivered this book of knowledge about the battery that my father was trying to understand. Your friends would say, you've lost your mind. You need a grip. I'll call someone. But what you're trying to convey to them is, no. You don't understand. I am the center of the universe. And every request, large and small, is being delivered to me in moment after moment after moment after moment, when I've already asked. And it's constantly being given, but it's the timing of the receiving of it that makes it all so sweet. Yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Exactly. Amazing.
Enough?
Yes.
Really good. Really good.
Don't forget to leave a positive message and subscribe.